Hi guys, welcome back to Honest Straightforward Reviews. Today I have a very quick review for you guys of the iPhone Air, which is here, and it's the black one, and it's quite thin, and with it I've got my trusty iPhone 15 Pro. Now the iPhone 15 Pro is quite a bit thicker than the iPhone Air, however the camera bump isn't as high as this guy's. The camera bump is quite high on this guy, and it is a bit heavier on that side as well. Like if you try and balance it from the middle, it doesn't really balance properly, but they've done a really good job. Like I love it. I love how it feels in your hand, how sturdy it is. But let me get some of the nitpicks out of the way first. Now, first of all, great to see that it's got 6.5 inch screen instead of the 6.1 on the iPhone 15. I love that. It's a bigger screen and means more pixels for you, brighter screen as well, and goes down to 1 nit. Okay, now the nitpick I have here is the 3000 nits. I can't see the difference of that when I'm on the iPhone 15. I spend some time outside, photography and things like that, taking photos of the kids. For me, I didn't see any difference. With the 1 nit, great to have it in the night time. Again, I don't really use the phone in bed. I do use it at times, and I didn't see anything in the night when I'm using the phone. Didn't see any improvements in there that I've gone like, I didn't see that, wow, this is so much better for my eyes. And also when I've got it at bed night in the side mode, where I put it on the side and it's charging and it shows the clock in the bedside mode, I think it's called, I didn't see much of an improvement. I wasn't like, oh, the iPhone 15 is so bright in the night, it's disturbing my sleep, and this is doing such a marvelous job. It's great to have that. Other than that, now a lot of reviews have gone out, so you guys might know that the iPhone Air no longer has the dual speakers. So the iPhones prior had a speaker up here and the speaker down here, and both of them gave you that stereo sound, whereas the iPhone Air has a powerful speaker up here, nothing down here. And that to me is such a miss. Like I actually miss how loud the iPhone 15 Pro gets immediately, and I kept missing that. So I'll use my phone and like I'll notice that I've bumped this all the way up and I still can't hear what I'm watching properly. Whereas with the iPhone 15, even if this, like let's say if the top speaker is 20% more powerful than that, but the 20% doesn't translate with two of these being here, you know what I mean? So two of these are going to be a lot more powerful, unless if this is going to be like 200% more powerful than the top speaker on that, then it might be equal, but it's not, and it's not powerful enough. So that is a real deal breaker for me when I'm watching stuff. If you're someone who watches stuff on with their headphones and they've got their headphones on, then that's not a problem at all for you. But just letting you know. Now another thing, as you guys can see, my hands aren't that big. Now I feel like the iPhone minis, the 12 mini and 13 mini minis, were the perfect size when it came to one hand operating, and this is okay as well. Like I can get away with most things, as you can see, you know. However, I just felt like the iPhone 15 just gets a bit too much, you know. It's digging, because it's how thin it is, it makes it a bit sharper as well, and it digs in to my palm here, and it's a bit harder to reach across the screen, and it's a bit more flimsier. So immediately as you guys can see, I don't put a case on, so immediately what I felt like doing was put a case on. Now as you can appreciate, if putting a case on will negate some of that weight. Now there's quite a bit of a difference between the weight, which I appreciate. This is 165 grams, this is 187 grams. That's a difference of 22 grams, which is fantastic. This is lighter, bigger, so those are the good things about it. So it's thinner as well, but it does feel a bit flimsy. I do feel like I need to put a case on. Now I don't use my iPhone a whole lot, so I'm not like a super user, you know. So By the way, this throttles as well. So when you compare the iPhone Air to the iPhone 17 Pro and 17 Pro Max, the chip in here is the same with one bin difference. So one GPU core is less on this, but it does get a lot hotter and it does throttle the chip a lot quicker. Okay, that's just being because it's glass everywhere and titanium, whereas the other one has a vapor chamber and it's aluminium body. So the aluminium dissipates heat a bit better into the air, and the vapor chamber. So all with the new iPhones, what they've done is in the plateau, what they're calling the plateau, that's where they've got the chip. That's where the power is. That's where everything operates. So what they've done is put a vapor chamber to dissipate the heat and cool it down and bring it back to the chip, which this doesn't. So with tests I have seen, it just gets hot here, it's cool down here, but there's no, whereas the iPhone Pros, it's evenly spread out and the chip can push a bit more. So if you're into that stuff, know that this is not going to be for you. Another thing, so if you're a heavy user and you want to go for a light phone like this, you'll need to get this as well. So as soon as you slap this on, the weight of this goes a lot more than that, you know what I mean? So me personally, like when I look at this iPhone, I feel like great invention, great stuff, but the price is another thing that's a complete killer for me. So the starting price for this in Australia is $1,800. The iPhone 17 is $1,400. So that shaves off $400. Okay. Yes, granted it's smaller, but by only 0.2 inches. That's 6.3 inches. Same display, same everything, same camera as well. And another thing I just want to add, so from the 15 or even from the 16 going to the 17, so the 17 now has a center stage camera. So the front camera on the older phones are 12 megapixel and the newer phones, they're 18 megapixel and they're a center stage camera. So it's no longer panoramic in that way or in that way, but actually a square sensor. So what that means is it actually moves around accordingly and crops it accordingly without losing any of that quality in the photo. So that's the difference. But when I am out there, when I've tested I know a lot of reviewers have banged on about how great the 18 megapixel camera is. When I have gone out there, even in, forget low light, but even in really well lit environments, when I've taken both the photos and looked on the phone, I can't see much of a difference. I have looked on the laptop and zoomed in. Yes, there is a difference if I zoom in that much, but there's not much of a difference. If you're that worried about your photos being the best, I would suggest to use the back camera of the phones because that's a 48 megapixel camera. Now another thing that I really wanted to add is, so when I'm looking at the iPhone Air, I want to look at the iPhone 17 as well. So the iPhone 17 is 177 grams. This is 165. So that's 12 grams difference. Not much, okay? The size is a tiny bit smaller. Not a big deal breaker. Got everything, got an extra camera. That guy has an extra camera. It's got a wide angle camera. This does not have that wide angle camera. It's got a better battery. The screen is the same. It's got the new ProMotion now in the base version as well, which pushes it up to 120 megahertz. So all of those things make the iPhone 17 this year one of the top phones in my opinion. But the iPhone Air, great innovation, great, but the price I think is just priced way out there. A competitor of the iPhone Air, you can look at the Samsung 25 Edge, Galaxy Edge, and that is a bit thicker than this, not as thin as this. Got a better battery, but that's debatable because of software on there. The weight on the Samsung is lower, just by 2 grams, not much, but it is lower. And the screen is even bigger than this. So that's 6.7 inch and it's 163 grams. And guess what? I was looking online and I saw a brand new one being sold by one of the stores on eBay with $100 discount, which brought it to $950. 950 to 1800. That's nearly half the price of this bigger. The Samsung's got 2 cameras. It's got a fantastic screen. Samsung's well known for their OLED TVs. So that makes a really hard pitch for the iPhone Air. I think this is going to be another hit and a miss. I think we might have a couple more iterations of the iPhone Air, then they're going to remove it, just like Plus and Mini. I think the Mini was one of the best phones. If they gave it everything they gave the Pros, especially with the newer screens, if they brought back the Mini, I think a lot of people will be jumping onto that. Maybe that's what Apple are going to do. They're going to go back to the Mini after having a couple of iterations of this. In a couple of years they might introduce a new Mini, then go back to this Mini, this, and just alternate like that, and between the Plus as well, and see how we go. But in my opinion, if you listen to music through the speakers, or you listen to your podcast through the speakers in a noisy environment, not the thing to get. Bit flimsy. The battery, if you use it a lot, the battery is not that good. And once you slap this thing on, which is another $100, it really pushes the price up. So that's personally my opinion. I'm going back to my 15 Pro. When the Air was announced, I was very excited. I was like, yes, I want this. And here's another thing. As soon as I got it, the novelty wore off immediately in a couple of days. So in 2-3 days, I was like, yep, I miss my 15 Pro. So that's my personal opinion. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Remember, this channel is completely supported by you guys. Please do subscribe, like my videos, and thanks for watching it to the end. Take good care. Bye-bye.